Good evening. Welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight's stories include
different reasons. It can vary with different
approved by the Department of Municipal Affairs.
I spoke with Town Manager Mr. Doug Kendall to find out what Council has done over the past few years in the way of recreation for youth. It turned out I ended up speaking with Mayor MacDonald rather than Town Manager Mr. Doug Kendall. Mayor MacDonald, what has Council done in the past number of years in the way of a recreation facility for Burgeo?
Well, Council has been involved in a recreation facility for some time, Dave. I guess it goes back 3 or 4 years at least, and several times, I think it's 3 years in a row now, we've applied for a feasibility study to try and determine what type of structure is needed there in this community and that sort of thing. So up to this point in time, we have been unsuccessful in achieving a funding for a feasibility study. So Council decided in the last 2 months to go ahead and get an engineering study done to see what it would cost to build a structure in this community. And I guess we're pleased to see that there is some concern in this community in regards to recreation. But we have an engineering study done, which I had a blueprint here with me if we could take a look at it in a little while, but I'm sure that this structure is certainly going to be sufficient for this community. The size of the building is 200 feet by 120 feet. So the total cost of this structure would be in the vicinity of $1 million. Now, in order for us to achieve funding for this building, the community itself would have to raise $250,000, which is a tremendous amount of money. But there are several ways you can go about raising this money. I guess one could be through fundraising like ticket selling or TV bingo, what have you. And the other, I guess, would be through, let's use, for example, if each household in this community was interested in that type of facility, and each household, we have 700, I think, households in this community, would pay $300, then you certainly would raise it, that would cover you $250,000. But we're not asking people to do that. This is just an example we're using there because there seems to be some interest in this community for this type of structure. But before we can go any further as council, we got to see where the public stands on this particular issue. If the support is out there, then we'll certainly go ahead and make application to try and come up with the funding, and also put together a committee which will consist of, I guess, 25 or 30 people to get involved and go out and do the fundraising to try and get this $250,000 that we need as our portion of the payment.
Okay, Mayor MacDonald, perhaps you'd like to show us your blueprint now, just to show us the outline of what you have.
Sure. Okay, the blueprint that we have here was done by Atlantic Engineering, which is the town's engineering based in Corner Brook. The structure itself is 200 feet long, approximately 120 feet wide. The building would consist of a rink, standing area, a box for the visitors, a penalty box, the home ice bench, your cleaning equipment area, electrical mechanic area, the electrical area, your office, the main entrance to TWIR, your ticket booth for selling tickets to certain hockey games, washrooms, and a storage, canteen, standing area, and also down there you have your washroom locker areas. And the building itself is vertical middle siding on the outside and a middle roof, which has 4 exit doors plus the main entrance. It would be a steel structure building. But we feel as council that this type of a structure would be suitable for the community of Burgeo. And it's certainly something, I guess, that we've all got to take a serious look at. And I think with the dedication and the help of the people of the community, I think we can certainly put something in place over the next couple of years. This is something that's not going to be built overnight, but certainly we've got to lay the foundation. Certainly we've got to lay the foundation and start working towards some sort of recreation facility for this community.
So Mayor MacDonald, what do you think the chances of the people of Burgeo supporting this project are?
Well, Dave, I'm not sure, but what council intends to do to try and find out if the support is out there, we're going to put in place a questionnaire, which we'll be putting in the post office over the next probably month or so, to each household in the community. And it'll be simple questions on it, whether you support the idea or not. And then we'll know what support is out in the community. And I also might point out that this arena will not be only used for hockey games or ball games or this type of thing. You take back in, I think it was '88, we had a come home year. This type of structure would have been the ideal thing for that type of an event. And I'm sure that every year the Lions have the summer fair, and this type of structure would certainly be adequate for that, or any type of an event that would be taking place in the ball field area. This building would be used for that. So I believe that it's something that people got to take a serious look at, and if we can get a consensus that the town is in favor, or the majority of the town is in favor, a large majority, then we have to put a committee in place, a dedicated committee of men and women that's got to go out and work towards this goal and make sure everything is done properly, as well as the finances. You've got to have somebody looking after the finances of that. And we've also sent letters to several communities in the province asking their opinion or advice on what it would cost to operate one of those arenas in around a year in terms of lighting and heating and that sort of thing. There's one other thing I might point out, that we're not talking about artificial ice here. Because if you were talking about artificial ice, you're talking about a lot more dollars. So I think that St. George's, I believe, is artificial ice. But I think there's more than the town involved in maintaining that building. So you've certainly got to look at what it's going to cost to maintain the building after it's in place, because we certainly don't want to see a white elephant here in town.
Okay, Mayor MacDonald. What did you accomplish in your efforts to get the Burgeo Hospital open for the winter months?
The Burgeo Hospital, Dave, since the last time I talked to you, we received approximately 20 letters from individuals around Burgeo and surrounding communities, and I received several phone calls as well. And we forwarded those letters to the Honourable Chris Digger, the Minister of Health. Mr. Gilbert was informed about it as well. And a copy of the letters went to Dr. Harry Watts, the Western Memorial Administrator. And Mr. Doug Cannell, the representative on the Western Memorial Board for Burgeo, took the letters into a meeting, board meeting, which they had this Wednesday night. I talked to Mr. Gilbert personally in the town office. He's certainly opposed to it. He do not support the hospital being open for the winter months. Mr. Cannell took the letters to the board. They're certainly going to investigate the matter and see what comes out of that. So right now we're in a wait-and-see stage. But I got to say, Dave, that when Mr. Gilbert told me he didn't support the hospital in Burgeo being open, I was disappointed. As an MHA, I believe he should have supported, because, when you're talking rural communities like this, and the situation we have here in the wintertime with our road, transportation, what have you, I noticed recently there was a report come in, a few accidents on the road, so all of this got to be taken into consideration. But I was certainly disappointed that he didn't support it. And I believe that what we got to do is keep pushing. And, because I hate to see where our health care is going in this province. I noticed Reverend Charles at a message on TV the other day. He was going to asking the community to contribute things for the seniors in Bay St. George, which I thought that was a very good gesture on Mr. Charles's part, and was well appreciated, and I certainly agree with what he done. But I don't agree that our senior citizens in 1991, the people who worked to put this province on the map, from the sweat of their brow, has got to uh, ask for that type of support when over the years the government usually supplied that. So it goes to show how bad our healthcare is getting in its problems. Now, I believe, in all sincerity, that this hospital should be open for the winter months. I don't care what anybody says in regards to politicians, because they're comfortable in St. John's sitting down, and if they get a problem or their family get a problem, it's only a matter of go down the street to the hospital. But when you're in a rural area with the winter conditions we get, I'm certainly disappointed in that man for not supporting that, and I believe that the people, if they want the hospital open, they definitely got to take a stand and try and get it open.
Okay, what reasons did Mr. Gilbert give for not wanting the hospital to open?
Well, basically, the only reasons that I could get out of it, Dave, is I guess the funding is not there. It's basically a financial matter. And so I don't see how they're going to operate a new one once that's put in place, because you're definitely going to need funding to operate a new one. So his argument to me don't hold water, in my opinion. And I hope that we don't come to any sad or tragic cases over the winter months. But I can see that if this hospital don't open, that the people of this community is going to be in for a long, hard winter in regards to health care.
Did you receive any response from Mr. Decker in regards to this matter?
Not as of yet, Dave. I understand that Mr. Decker is going to be writing some letters, and I don't know what his approach is going to be. But once we receive a response from Mr. Decker, and if it's not in our favor, then I believe that we should immediately contact the Premier himself, because in 1991, in this day and age, it's not good to have your health care degraded at a time like this.
I understand there has been some controversy in the size of our trawlers for fishing in the Gulf area.
Dave, yes, as a matter of fact, I guess it was a week ago, I guess I first got it on the Fisherman Broadcast, CBC Radio. I immediately contacted Frank Strickland, the trawler representative here in Burgeo. And a day after that, I think I received a fax from Richard Casson, the president of the union, which was concerned about it, because this attempt by a lobby group in Nova Scotia, I think there's the Eastern, I'm not sure the name of the group, but there's a lobby group in Nova Scotia that certainly wants trawlers over 100 feet out of 4V and 4T. So this is, if this becomes a reality, it's certainly going to affect the fish plant in Burgeo and all plants on the south coast. I also received a fax in that regards from Mr. Bruce Chapman, who's the president of the Fisheries Association. It was representing all the fish companies, so he's speaking out against it. Mr. Caston has spoken out against it, and the town itself has sent off a fax to Mr. Crosby opposing it as well. If those trawlers is driven out of 4B and 4T, we're certainly going to lose quite a bit of our fish pool. And on the same issue, when I was in St. John's a week ago, I did have a chance to discuss it with Mr. Crosby, and he certainly is going to try and make sure this don't happen.
Seafreeze Foods is the backbone of Burgeo. It was scheduled to open in November, but is not open to date. What are council's views on this?
In regards to Seafreeze not being open at the present time, I think the construction that took place there was drove into late fall before that was completed. Then they sent 2 trawlers out to sea. I think one has been gone a week now. She's only reporting 75,000. The second trawler is reporting nothing. I believe she run into some mechanical problems. So therefore, certainly don't look too bright for the fish plant being open this year. I understand from Mr. Coley that they're looking at the new year before the plant goes into production. So there's several factors involved. I guess the weather conditions, along with the lack of fish, and I think there's sort of a mix-up in what quota is in 4B and for Seafreeze. So I don't see the plant being opened this year.
What kind of year did Seafreeze have this past year?
But Dave, in my opinion, Seafreeze provided to this community this year I think it was eight and a half or 8 months of employment, which I think was very good given the condition of the fishing industry, because I was in St. John's last week. I talked to people from all parts of the province, people in communities that is drawing UIC that just got enough stamps to draw UIC, 10 stamps. There are other people in communities that is on welfare, other people that is on make-work projects. Quite a number of plants closed. But, you know, I can honestly say that I've been pleased with what Seafreeze, the employment Seafreeze brought in the community of Burgeo in 1991. Now, also when they took over the plant, their commitment to Burgeo was the minimum of 8 to 9 months a year with the same number of employees. And as long as they maintain that commitment, then I'll be satisfied. But if they go below that commitment, I'm not satisfied.
Okay, Mayor MacDonald, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I guess basically that's it, Dave, at this time, but I'll certainly be back again before Christmas with another issue. So I won't wish everybody Merry Christmas at this particular time, so I'll be back again at a later date.
Okay, Mayor MacDonald, thanks for speaking.
You're welcome, Dave.
The access to and from the new Smalls Island Bridge are nearly completed, and most of the causeway has been removed. So soon you will be able to go under as well as over the new Smalls Island Bridge. As you can see, most of the causeway has been removed, and people are now walking across the bridge, and pretty soon they'll be driving across. Workers were busy when we were over there hooking up the new water line which passes through the bridge. We took our camera to the Senior Center site on Friday to see how work was progressing. The floor is not yet done in the new Senior Center, and the roof is not on. However, most of the siding is on and some of the windows are in. The annual Lions and Lioness Santa Claus Parade went ahead as scheduled today. We have some highlights of that parade for you now. Okay, the fire truck's coming around again now for the second time. It's the new fire truck, followed by the fire van and the person's ambulance. They'll be pausing now while the cadets rejoin the parade.
This is a big joy joy for all the kids to get and go on fire truck.
Yeah, as you can see, there's quite a crowd out there. Okay, we have the fire van coming along now. Followed by Parsons Ambulance.
And here are our cadets.
RCSTC Bob Bartlett Sea Cadet Corps. Part of the parade that a lot of people look forward to. Next we have the brownies and the Girl Guides.
And our RCSC Bob Bartlett float. We are the children, we are the world, we cry for peace.
I think that float is based on the song We Are the World, which was done a few years ago. The next float is the Ground Search and Rescue.
Here's the AJ Matthews float.
Okay, this is the Ground Search and Rescue float coming along there now. The AJ Matthews Elementary float is coming up the road now. Here we have AJ Matthews, Sesame Street. And the Fire Brigade float, Snoopy and the Red Baron. And the Lioness float, Silver Bills. Unfortunately, their wall is backwards to us. We can't see their actual float, but they did an excellent job with the float. And there's a private entry, Alvin and the Chickmunks.
We have a BBS float.
Rich versus poor. We see the rich side, but unfortunately, we see the poor side rather, but unfortunately we can't see the rich side as well. Next is the Lodge float and the Pathfinders, Candyland Christmas. Next float coming up now, I think, is Burgeo Food Center and Cohen's float. It was the night before Christmas.
We now have the Scout one. Here is the Burgeo Bears float.
And the Lions Club float's coming out the road now. There's the community center. Followed by a float for the Children's Wish Foundation. And the Lions are going along by the float for anyone who wants to make a donation. It's a very worthwhile cause. And here's the second of our two fire trucks, followed by the RCMP van with Santa and Mrs. Claus. Well, that's it for the parade. Now we'll be off to the community center to see what Santa has in store for the kids.
Judged on 4 categories: best Christmas theme, originality, most different, and best commercial and individual. According to the judges, they had a hard time in judging it. The ones that did win, they were only separated by 1 or 2 or 3 points, and you were all close in that category.
So I would call on our King Lion president to present the awards to the winning groups. The best Christmas theme goes to the Burgeo Wolf Cubs. Would some representative come forward and would someone from the Burgeo Wolf Cub please come and accept the plaque? The next category is the originality. That goes to St. John Central High. The next category is the most effort. That goes to A.J. Matthews Elementary. And the best commercial or individual float goes to Cohen's Burgeo Food Center.
This week was set aside by the RCMP as Safe Driving Week. Community events. The RBP TV Bingo held on Wednesday night was won by Frank Dunford, Rhonda Green, Joanne Benight, Joyce Green, and Harriet One. The Lioness will be having a TV Bingo on Wednesday, December 11th at 7 p.m. Cards are $1 each or 6 for $5 and are available in most stores around town. Please support the Lioness by playing TV Bingo. Public notice is hereby given that a poll has been granted by the Western Integrated School Board for a by-election of school board members in the following zones. Zone 1, 1 member, Cornerbrook East, and Zone 7, 1 member, Burgeo, all that makes up the town of Burgeo. The said by-election will take place on Monday, January 20th, 1992, between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Nomination papers must be filed with the returning officer between December 13th and 5 p.m. December 20th, 1991. Nomination papers will be available by contacting the returning officer or the board or the school principals between December 13th and December 20th, 1991. A person is qualified to be a candidate who is a full 18 years of age, as being an ordinary resident in the district for 30 days immediately preceding the date of election, is ordinarily resident in the district on the day of election, is not in arrears to the school board tax authority or account of unpaid taxes and assessment, is an adherent and religious denomination or group of denominations for which the school board was established. Signed, Walter J. Vincent, Returning Officer, Western Integrated School Board. The hockey games that were played in St. George's on November 30th will be airing on this coming week. Tune in to Channel 10 to find out the exact dates and times of the games. Now over to Mayor MacDonald with the Town Council report.
Good evening. Burgeo Town Council report. Phase 2 of the incinerator project. Plans have been approved by the Department of Municipal Affairs for the installation of the incinerator. This will be going to tender in the next 8 or 10 days. Work is expected to start early spring. Results of the testing done on the town's water supply have been received. Testing was carried out on everything you can humanly test for. All samples proved to be good. No signs of hazardous to health. Smalls Island Bridge has been completed, and the water system to Smalls Island is expected to be completed in the next day or two. This should give more water pressure and a larger volume of water to the residents of Smalls Island. College Scholarship, set up by the Burgeo Town Council in 1987, was awarded this year to Miss Glenda Donelman. Glenda is the daughter of Pat and Audrey Donelman. Congratulations, Glenda. Burgeo Town Council went to tender for its fuel supply for 1992. Bids were received from Irving All and Altamar. The successful bidder was also the lowest bidder, which was Altamar. Correspondence. A letter was received from an individual concerning insufficient street lighting in his area. Council visited the area in question and agreed to install a light in that particular area. A letter was received from an individual concerning zoning of a certain portion of land in the Reach area. Council agreed to investigate this matter. A letter was received from Newfoundland Hydro regarding proposed rate increases. Council has written to the Public Utility Board opposing any rate increase. Burgeo Hospital. A total of 20 letters and several phone calls were received from individuals in support of the hospital being open for the winter months. Copies of the letters were sent to the Honorable Chris Digger, Minister of Health, and Dr. Harry Watts. Also, Mr. Doug Cannell, board member representing Burgeo, presented the letters to the Western Memorial Hospital Board meeting in Cornbrook on December the 4th. Building Committee reports. A request was received from K&K Variety to construct a 6-foot extension to the rear of their prison building. Permission was granted, subject to the approval of the Fire Commissioner's office. A request was received from an individual to construct an extension to his prison shed. His application was approved. A request was received from an individual to locate a trailer in the Muddy Hole area. His request was denied. He was also reminded that the prison trailer court is filled to its capacity. However, Council is in the process of locating a new site for trailers in the early spring. A request was received from an individual to construct an 8x8 shed in the Reach area. This shed will be used to house electrical outlets for a helicopter refueling station. His request was approved, subject to the approval of all other departments involved. Well, that concludes your council report for this week. Good night, and may God bless.
Well, that's it for tonight's program. We hope you enjoyed it. Please stay tuned now for the bandwagon. On behalf of BBS and the BBS volunteers, I'm Dave Cooper. Have a great week. Good night.